so far, everything's been nice and rosy. We've been talking about God and His love. Everything's been great. God made us in His image, but something bad happened. This isn't what we experience today. Something's gone wrong. Now, with everything that you've been saying so far, I imagine that it has something to do with love. If the warm relationship between the Father and the Son is the cause of everything, I imagine that what went wrong has something to do with our inability or our refusal to live in God's love. I could be wrong about that, but could you talk to us a little bit? What went wrong in Genesis 3, and what effects has this had on us as humans?
Okay. Yes, very good. At the most overt level, at the surface level, Adam and Eve disobeyed God. The human race, instead of obeying, disobeyed and turned away from God. So at the simplest level, that's what happened. And that disobedience, which we call the fall theologically, has marked the human race ever since. So not only Adam and Eve themselves, but their descendants, all of us, have been marked by the distortions in our character that have been brought about as a result of that initial disobedience. But if you probe that a little bit more deeply, I think we can recognize a little more specifically what's going on. When God created the human race, He created human beings in the best possible condition a creature could have. The human race was in fellowship with God. We can say sharing in the Son's relationship to the Father, in fellowship with one another, ruling over the natural world, the animals, the garden, etc., called to extend that loving relationship by being fruitful, multiplying, continuing to rule over the earth, to subdue the earth, to shepherd it. All of that involves a task of extending that central relationship of love to more people and to the growing human race and to the entire world. That's what we were called to do. That's the condition we were given at creation. Effectively, what lies underneath eating the forbidden fruit is a discontent with the best possible condition that a creature could have, caused by the desire to be better. And the only thing that is better is to be God Himself, which is not on offer to the human race. And so a discontent with the abundant, loving, gracious gift that God has given in creation, and a desire to grasp for something utterly unobtainable, equality with God, is what led the human race to take its eyes off of God and to begin to look elsewhere, to begin to love things rather than God, to begin to desire a kind of independence, autonomy, power, sovereignty that only God actually has. So in a sense, what we are doing is losing our posture of looking in worship and love and seeking to rule over something as if we are gods in our own universe. So as you think about what's happening in the initial disobedience, that's one of the ways, I think, a very fruitful way that you can understand it. And that continues to affect us ever since. The relationships that we have now mirror the father-son relationship only very poorly, if at all. Our relationships are now characterized by competition instead of cooperation, by concern for self instead of self-giving, et cetera, et cetera. So as we have turned our gaze away from God, the entire character of human relationships has been twisted accordingly.
Yeah, when you put it like that, it really puts sin in a very stark. I hear so many people talk about what's wrong with eating an apple, kind of at a popular level. What's so bad with that? But when you look at it as turning away from participating in God's relationship, that really puts in very stark terms what sin really is all about. It's about turning away from God, a God of love. And what should we expect other than what remains for us as humans if we turn away from life and love himself? What remains for us but death and selfishness, turning inward? That's very helpful.
One of the greatest thinkers in the early church was an Egyptian, Greek-speaking Egyptian by the name of Athanasius in the 4th century. And Athanasius describes sin as imagining a non-existent reality and seeking to live as if that were real. Initially, imagining a reality in which we are the highest beings, not God, and then trying to live as if that non-existent reality were real. Mm-hmm. In the intervening centuries, up to today, we've extended that farther and farther. If you look at things that are happening in our society today, we imagine a non-existent reality. And we not only seek to live ourselves in light of that reality, we try to force other people to live in light of what we claim is real that isn't. If Athanasius had seen the world today, he would have had no idea the degree to which he was predicting what would be happening in the continuation of sin for the succeeding century.
El vídeo que acabas de ver es un fragmento de otro más largo. Si quieres verlo completo, haz clic aquí. Te damos las gracias por apoyar el trabajo de CLIE y te invitamos a suscribirte al canal y a seguirnos en nuestras redes sociales para no perderte ninguna de nuestras novedades.